Hi everyone. I got this, we were talking about Robert Lockhart recently, who passed away unfortunately, who was a raw vegan, a fruitarian, and did a lot of dry fasting and stuff and taught at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. Great guy, he was really like a major part of my journey on this lifestyle, right? And his family came out with some information, and I shared that in a blog that I wrote, I think, and I shared it in an email. Um, and By the way, if you want to join the newsletter, go to fruitfest.co.uk and you can join the email newsletter. And then Woodstock have sent out an email recently, I think Aubrey's just come in, about him. And I just wanted to point out a few things in this, because there's a bit more extra information here. Some good stuff about Robert, blah blah blah. So gives us a bit more information. It says that apparently in 2015, Robert's kidneys were functioning at about 65% of their capacity. It also showed that his kidneys were a smaller size than usual. Now, I would have met Robert 2012. So it's interesting, this is after that. And I don't know when he was doing the dry fasting, if he'd already done it then. I think his family suggests in the last 10 years he'd been experimenting with the dry fasting. So, but his kidneys were functioning at about 65% of their capacity. Now, my brother is a kidney doctor, kidney specialist in the UK. Come on in.
Hi.
And I asked him about that 65% of function. He said that's mild chronic kidney disease. If your kidneys are at 65% function, you've got chronic kidney disease already, mild. And I asked him, could it be because of the dry fast? And he kind of said maybe, but there could have been other things involved. So that was his answer. It says about 6 weeks ago, Robert noticed some phlegm in his throat, shortness of breath. It was affecting his workouts. He believed it was just a simple mucus elimination, didn't pay much attention. Didn't clear it up. It didn't clear up after 2 weeks. He decided to do a 3-day dry fast. So he didn't immediately dry fast. During that, he kept working. It did not resolve the phlegm. He started to cough. After the fast, his breathing difficulties continued, and he had trouble sleeping. He broke the fast. He didn't eat much over the next 2 weeks due to general feeling of weakness and not being quite well. He kept saying that he just needed to take it easy and rest. We'll go down. Finally, about 2 weeks after the dry fast, Robert's wife convinced him to go to the hospital. So this is quite long after the dry fast, actually. So it wasn't like he did the dry fast, he got sent into hospital during the dry fast. The test showed extremely elevated levels of potassium in the bloodstream. So if you've got high levels of potassium in your bloodstream, remember your body's always regulating stuff. So don't worry about how much potassium or bananas you eat. Your body will always regulate that. But if your kidneys aren't working, then it'll show a high level of potassium, is what we're learning here. The doctors believe his dry fasting regimen had done significant damage to his kidneys over the years. So this is what the doctor's belief was. My brother, also a doctor, he says it could be other things, but these doctors, having more information, are suggesting it was a direct result of the dry fasting. The normal potassium level should be 3.5 to 5, so that's where we should all be, probably we all are. His level was at 6.8, which is very close to what's called severe hyperkalemia, basically severely high potassium level. That affects the heart. Normal blood levels are critical for maintaining normal electrical rhythm. Moderate hyperkalemia can produce EKG changes. Severe can cause suppression of electrical activities of the heart and cause the heart to stop beating. The doctors attributed the difficulty breathing to pneumonia, which caused accumulation of water in the lungs. So, after all this, he'd been in hospital for 7 days. He seemed to be getting better. Now here's where I don't like what the Woodstock Fruit Festival are saying here. Whoever wrote this, I'm not really a great fan of this part of it. His urine was getting clearer, but here's what it says: the stress of being in the hospital contributed to him going down again. I'm not sure if I understand what they're saying here. The stress of being in the hospital contributed to him going down again. About 5 days into his stay, he had an episode of abnormally fast heart rate of 140 per minute in a resting state. I don't know if this means by stress like he wasn't having the same diet that he was used to, I don't know. The doctor prescribed medication to stimulate the heart into functioning properly as it was getting weaker. Okay. Rihanna was bringing fresh fruit and greens to him, but he had to be careful with his choice of fruit due to the elevated potassium issue due to his failing kidneys, and limit himself to only small quantities of some of his favourite fruits. So I believe if you do have kidney problems, you have to be on a low potassium diet. I don't know how that works. I guess you have to stay away from almost all vegetables, almost all fruits, but I'm not sure what else you would eat. He had a cardiac arrest, a result of the kidney failure. To die. It's 5 days. So, and caused a section of heart muscle to begin to die. So he had cardiac arrest. He was taken to intensive care unit for the next 5 days. The heart scan showed that his heart was enlarged due to the stress of having to work extra hard, struggling to pump in the body with failing kidneys. While in the ICU, intensive care unit, additional testing revealed melioidosis, an infectious disease caused by a bacterium called Burkholderia pseudomallei, found in contaminated water and soil and spread to humans and animals through direct contact. He worked on a farm, he had his fingers in the soil. It's funny when we talk about, we think nature's so healthy for us. Oh great, get your hands in the soil and all that. This bacterial infection is what caused Robert's phlegm issues, pneumonia, breathing difficulties. Robert was administered a strong dose of intravenous antibiotics to deal with the bacteria. So, he was given antibiotics to deal with the bacteria. Bennett goes on to say, Robert has never had any antibiotics in his entire life. This was extremely stressful on his body, especially since his failing kidneys were in no position to deal with the eliminating additional toxins. For a body as clean as Robert's, it was too much. I don't like that. It's quite clear in the rest of the article. His kidneys were damaged. This was nothing to do with the antibiotics. His heart was going into cardiac arrest. This was nothing to do with the antibiotics. He had an infectious disease that was stimulating all this problem that he was struggling to deal with. The doctors made a judgment to give him antibiotics. And this email is saying he'd never taken any and his body was too clean for it. His kidneys were in no position to deal with eliminating additional toxins. I think the doctors would have made a judgment call there that they believed he had to take these antibiotics, or that his kidneys were in an okay position, or they had to do something, otherwise this was going to take over. So I don't really like that message, this anti-medical, and then his heart failed and he died, and so on. How healthy can we be? Rest in peace, fantastic. And there's a lot of great message there. What it didn't say was, please, we've made a mistake. We are sorry. As a festival, we made a huge mistake in allowing Robert to speak about a dangerous practice and promote it to all of you. And we are sorry. And we will never let that happen again. And we will stop people from talking about dangerous things like alternative cancer treatments. That is such a scandal that people have been allowed to speak about things like that. I get it. A lot of you are into natural health. A lot of you have realised that the doctors don't have all the answers. But there's there's dogma and there's intelligence. And if you go dogmatically thinking that you can use natural hygiene approach, fasting, just to cure everything, raw vegan diet for everything, that's not intelligent. That's really, really not intelligent. And it concerns me, it worries me that they're putting across a message that this was somehow the doctor's fault, that this is antibiotics, that this was the antibiotics, the toxic load of the antibiotics. I think that's a terrible message, personally. The festival should feel, Robert was a good friend of mine, but why did I not have him at the UK Fruit Fest? Partly because he's from Australia. If he'd been from the UK, he would have probably been there. But I would have had to have had a difficult conversation with him, saying, we're not talking about dry fasting here. We're not talking about calorie restriction here. Too many anorexics in the world. We're not talking about all that stuff. We need to talk about the positive benefits of this lifestyle, of eating fruit and all that. I mean, he would have definitely been speaking at the festival if he was in the UK or in Europe and it was easier for him to get there. But I would have definitely had to have that conversation of saying, we don't want you to speak about the dry fasting thing. It's too dangerous. People are dying. And I think that someone should have had that conversation with him. But, I mean, he was the elder of the community, so everyone thought he knew best, in a sense. So I can understand that. But, the person that I look more towards Doug Graham and a few different people. I don't look towards Arnold Ehret, sorry. He never did a raw diet for as long as I've done it. I don't look towards Robert Morris. I don't look towards Herbert Shelton. I look towards Doug Graham and different people that are around now that are still doing the diet. And they were totally against dry fasting. Totally thought it was irresponsible for it to be allowed to be spoken about. And I saw that as well, believed that. And I'm even cautious about fasting. I don't like people talking about fasting in general. So I feel a bit weird about this message. I love the fact that they're giving a tribute to Robert. We should all do that. But we should not blame the doctors in this situation, who he did not ever go and see. They did not contribute to his decline. It looks like the doctors are suggesting he had chronic kidney disease going back 5 years. And the weird thing is he was to anyone around him, you would think he was the healthiest 75-year-old you'd ever met. But he was dealing with chronic kidney disease. Unfortunately, he damaged and he continued to do that damage. And some people were telling him, and I don't know, maybe there should have been a conversation, but maybe he shouldn't have been speaking about it and teaching other people. I know that how he put it across. I know that he never told people you should do this. I know he was very wary of telling people. But people still, it's like telling people, don't go in that room, don't do this, don't do that. Like, it becomes the thing that people want to try. So, I don't know what the message is out of all this. I just think that we need to, as a community, as festivals, events, we need to ban it now. We need to stop it. Stop talking about it. Get rid of it as an idea. The fact that more than one person has died from dry fasting, it's irresponsible to the max to be speaking about it or promoting it. Terrible things that have happened to people because of it. So, and I know there's still some of you that are holding on to it. You're like, no, it's a good thing. It really is a good thing. It's just stop. Just stop. So yeah, the emails, whatever it is. So thank you. By the way, the Woodstock Fruit Festival, I just want to say, I do not want to stop you from going. It is a life-changing event, a life-giving event, a wonderful community, amazing food, a brilliant venue, great accommodation. Suggest a private room if you can afford it, really good private rooms, and you'll have the time of your life. So I've got nothing against the festival and the people, but we all need to, we cannot blame the doctors in this situation. maybe we should have all been a little bit more, I don't know, we should have really asked those questions. Was this a good thing for him to be promoting and speaking about? Should we have been encouraging that? I don't know. So anyway, thanks for watching the video, and once again, much respect to Robert Lockhart, a great friend, a legend in this movement. I hope that the positive aspects of his message will continue. I'd love us to put something together for him, maybe a book or something of his ideas, because he had a lot of ideas that we're not talking about here, but he had a lot of different ideas about health and the body that were quite different to the way other people thought about it. So a great guy, a legend. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. We'll see you in another one.